Welcome to Second Listen Saturday on the Parenting Roundabout podcast, where we share some fun moments from a past episode for your weekend listening pleasure. Look for new episodes every Monday through Friday.
What makes a horror movie scary?
Well, I can't speak to this very much because I don't watch horror movies. I went through a brief period in my 20s where I watched like Poltergeist and American Werewolf in London, and that was about it. So I am a horror movie wimp, but my attention has been caught recently by stories about the movie A Quiet Place, which showed up on my special needs Facebook rounds as having a deaf actress in it, playing a deaf character. Who would have thought of such a revolutionary sort of casting as that? Thank you, John Krasinski. And also that it's being thought of as a metaphor for parenting in the modern age, and who are you if you can't keep your kids safe? In the movie, apparently, there has been some sort of, I guess, alien invasion, and these aliens can't see, but they are extremely, extremely good at sound. And so if you make any noise at all, you will immediately be killed. So
here they come.
Y'all take over. Anyway, so the film follows this family who is living in this new sort of reality where they have to do everything extremely, extremely quietly. And many people are thinking that this is sort of like what parenting is like now, constantly being afraid of not being able to protect your kids in a hostile environment. So that got me to thinking, what other sorts of parenting metaphor horror movies can we come up with? Certainly our days are full of stress and imaginings of terrible things happening around us. I'm not going to actually go see these movies, but I applaud them, and I can think of some of my own. So I got a couple ideas, but I'll start with this one. You know those horror movies where a person's sense of reality becomes questioned? Somebody is either gaslighting them to believe that they're going crazy, or, you know, they're actually in another reality and people are trying to convince them that something that they know is true is not true. We've seen those movies, right? We've heard of those movies. Yeah. That has pretty much been exactly my experience of going to IEP meetings for 12 years. Where you are home with your child and you know who your child is, you know exactly who your child is, and you go through a room of strangers and they say, no, this is your child with all of these problems. See? And you go, well, I don't see that. No. You are misled. You are misinformed. You are perhaps delusional. This is who your child is. I've had IEPs that had a different gender on them than my child. What? And when I went to ask it to be corrected, they said, oh no, that's not important. So you wouldn't have to even do it. I've had like people tell me, listen to the teacher who knows your child, when the teacher has known my child for 2 weeks and I've known my child for most of her life. So You wouldn't have to tweak this stuff very much for it to be one of those, which reality is real sorts of things. Will they finally drive her to believe that her child is a completely different child than the one she thought she had? No, she will
I can
fight
imagine
back.
this like Twilight Zone intro as well.
It's very Twilight Zone-y, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think you would not have to really... I think every parent who has been through any sort of contentious IEP situations could contribute events to a screenplay for an IEP horror meeting called The Team. So, Nicole, maybe you have one from the other side, from the teacher's side, a horror movie. But
from the teacher's side,
can you pitch a horror movie that would be a parenting metaphor?
Yeah, well, I'm thinking more along the lines of, because I constantly have these dreams, and it's like, you know, when you're trying to get somewhere and you just can't.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it's just, you know, there's things stopping you, and you're going to, you know, something terrible is going to happen if you don't get there. And so I think of like, you know, trying to get your child to their soccer game and you just can't get there.
Except in that sense, you're actually kind of glad, but still.
Yeah. You know, just trying to get your child to all those places that they need to be, and you just can't get there for some reason.
Maybe it's an alien invasion. Maybe it's a post-apocalyptic lack of fuel, but one way or another, you cannot get there.
And you just, you know, everything just stops and blocks you, and and every turn, every corner, and there's, something horrible you have to dodge and get around and fight off and how to get your child to the soccer field.
Honestly, next time there's a superhero movie and there's some sort of horrible evil menace to Metropolis and buildings are falling down right and left, I want there to be one mom in a SUV honking, "Come on, I gotta get my kid to a soccer game." They're there. They're there somewhere. Superman, could you clear that intersection? I got places to be.
It's a big game. Come on.
Come on, I'm in charge of snacks today. Let's go.
I got a cooler full of orange slices.
Hollywood, call us. How about you, Catherine? Can you think of another nightmare scenario for a parenting horror movie?
Well, I was thinking of one similar to Nicole's because I've definitely had that dream before where, you're trying to go somewhere and you're just thwarted all the time.
Yes.
And so mine would be like, you hear a baby crying, you hear your baby crying, and you can't reach that baby. The baby's crying, maybe she's just hungry, maybe she's like being attacked by bears, you don't know, and you just can't, you can't get out of bed, and then you get out of bed and you can't open the door, and then you open the, because I still have like flashbacks to how awful it was for, you hear the baby crying and you're like, what are the odds that she'll stop if I don't get up? Or what is the chance that my husband will hear her and get up before I do, which is, the chance is 0. It is 0.
Of course.
So combine that with like being unable to actually move or get to her, then, that is a horrible.
That's terrifying.
That is horrifying.
Right there.
Yes.
That is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
Wow.
These are good. Somebody should contact us. This is our next business thing. We're just going to start writing screenplays. Parenting anxieties made horribly real.
Right. It could be a series.
I've been thinking also about, how we talked about how come in those post-apocalyptic movies people seem to have an unlimited supply of contact lens solution.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Even though civilization has pretty much ground down to nothing.
Fallen apart. Yes.
Right.
Oh, I was thinking that also in terms of, when you're parenting kids with special needs, there's so much stuff. I mean, there's medical stuff that's needed.
Yeah.
There's, psychiatric medications sometimes that are very important. There's, we've talked about how.
Insulin, maybe.
Yeah. Or, anti-anxiety medication, anti-schizophrenia or obsessive compulsive or any of these things. Yeah. Or, we've talked about how to keep your kid quiet in a lockdown if quiet is not a setting that your child's brain has. Mm-hmm. What do you do when there's zombies around the corner and your kid won't be quiet? Is it going to put the rest of the family in danger? What do you do with that? These are the questions that the parents really deal with all the time because you never know when some insurance funding is going to go away or the school that works for your kid is going to be closed down or they're going to decide they have to bring your kid back to a less perfect situation. Mm-hmm. We're always worrying about how is parenting this child going to affect my other children. So I would just put that into a disaster movie setting or a post-apocalyptic horror setting or an alien invasion setting. And that just will ramp everything up by about 100 degrees.
Yeah.
Right.
And that would be our lives.
What about I'm just this is great because I'm just kind of thinking of all these different
That's right.
It's great.
parenting related nightmares. But what about that mom that I'm thinking from a teacher point of view that just stomps into the room and demands, that her child
that would be me
deserves something or needs something or, even the mom on the playground that's out there to, and so I can I just think of King Kong or somebody just stepping over.
Or it's like the
buildings and
the single white female but it's a mom that tries to take over your life and take your kid.
Yeah, when your kid says they like somebody else's mom better, what if that really then happened?
Right.
Yes.
And you were looking through the window. And what if that person was an evil monster from another planet just masquerading as a perfect mom?
Yeah.
Right.
And eating small children or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody will believe you.
Yes.
Because you're just jealous that she makes better cupcakes than you. But no.
It turns out the reason why those cupcakes taste so good.
Oh, Catherine takes it the extra mile.
Oh, sorry.
Yikes.
Sorry.
Well, I thought parenting was scary already, man.
Right.
We can dial it up. Well, A Quiet Place is doing quite well. I think it was #1 at the box office. So maybe this is gonna spur a whole new genre of parenting-related horror movies.
Oh boy.
There certainly would be an audience for that. Not me personally, because I don't watch horror movies, but I will read about them and I will talk about them on podcasts, and I will wish them well.
That's as far as I'll go.
That's right. We are indeed wimps.